If you've read the title to this podcast, the answer is yes. Bad website design can hurt your radio station. And today we'll give you 6 reasons why it does and give you 6 reasons to help you maintain a more professional and better looking website.
You're listening to Better Radio Websites, the definitive podcast for radio professionals who want their websites to generate more traffic and substantial revenue. Get time-tested techniques, secret tricks, and valuable tools in online content, marketing, analytics, security, social media, and much more. Ready for your radio station to dominate digital in your market? Here we go.
Hi, it's Jim, and welcome to Better Radio Websites, the podcast that helps you get more visitors and the most revenue with your radio station website. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. And this week, we're talking about bad website design. And so what is that? Well, if you go to a website, you can tell if it was created back in the 90s or if it looks like it's just cluttered. There's too many things. You look at the website and you're like, oh my gosh, what do I click on? And there's just way too many things going on there. Well, that's bad website design. And yes, it can cause visitors to just leave and never come back. And that ultimately hurts your radio station because not only are those listeners leaving, but your advertisers are seeing that and they're thinking, do I really want to advertise with this radio station? Because their website looks like junk. Maybe I'm going to get junk from every other aspect of the radio station. And we'll talk about that a little bit later on. I've been doing radio station websites for the last 26 years. And across those 26 years, there is one thing that has been consistent. Once radio station gets their hands on their website, after it's been professionally designed, they spent thousands of dollars to pay a developer or a service to get the website looking exactly the way they want it. Once they get their hands on it, then it starts gradually declining. They start putting little things on there and they start, trying to be everything to everybody. We talked about that last week. We do not want to do that. We want to super serve our particular audience. Being everything to everybody, it never works for us. But that's kind of difficult to get out of our mindset because we want our shows to be everything to everybody. We want to, the content that we talk about on air, we want to touch everybody, as many people as we can with our on-air content. Unfortunately, you try to fit everything onto a web page, it gets confusing. It gets overwhelming. And when people get confused and overwhelmed, psychology of website design tells us that people just check out. They keep scrolling on their Facebook feeds and their X feeds and their Instagrams to find something that they're looking for. But they're seeing it in very small doses. If they were presented a page full of Facebook posts or full of Instagram posts, then they would just check out. They wouldn't go and look up and down the page and that sort of thing. So that's why those things work on mobile. So we want to kind of transition that mentality over to our websites. And today we're going to give you 6 reasons why a bad website design is doomed to fail. You may be thinking, hey, this is going to be cool. This is going to be cool. This is going to be cool. But ultimately, visitors get there and they just check out. I mean, I had one radio station reach out to me and say, hey, we're Eagle 101 or 97. I forget what it was or whatever. So we want an animated eagle flying across the top of the homepage. How quickly do you think that would get annoying if somebody went to that website every single day, which they want people to go to that website every single day. But if they saw that eagle flying across the content that they're trying to read, how annoying would that be? So that new feature, that cool little thing that the radio station wanted to do would ultimately send people away from their website. And that's kind of what we're talking about today. All right, so let's jump into these 6 ways that bad website design can hurt your radio station. Not just your radio station website, your radio station. Number 1 is loss of traffic. You may think that you're trying to be everything to everybody, but ultimately people will leave. They will get tired of all of that clutter. And more clutter actually means that your website is going to load a whole lot slower. And a slow website is going to negatively affect how visitors perceive your radio station and your website. They're going to just not come back. And when they don't come back, that negatively affects your SEO scores, meaning that less people are going to come back to your website. So if your website loads slow with all of this stuff that you're putting on it, it's going to frustrate visitors to your website. And they're not going to want to come back. They're not going to return because they're just going to give up on it. They may come back maybe one more time because you mentioned something on the radio, but then it's going to load slow. Then they'll never return. Even when you mention something cool on air, they go to the website and check this out. I ain't got time for that. That's what they're going to mentally be thinking in the back of their mind. Psychologically, they've been conditioned to not go to that website now because it loads so slow and it gave them a negative feeling in the past. Number 2 is a poor user experience. As I mentioned, if your website is loading slow, that's a poor user experience. It's if it's cluttered, there's too many things on the website to look at. That gives a negative connotation. And when you're combining all of these things with maybe too many things and then it's loading slow, then that is a poor user experience and they're just going to check out. A cleaner, more intuitive design is going to benefit you. You may think, well, I'm not covering all the bases, but you're keeping them there longer. And that is going to help you in the long run. Yeah, they may have to click on one thing to get to where they want to go. Let's say you don't have contests on the homepage. You have them on the contest page. All right, so you make it real easy for them to get to the contest page, and they will decide, okay, yes, I understandably, contests are listed under all contests. That doesn't have to be on the homepage. So a cleaner, more intuitive design is going to help out your user experience and benefit your website in the long run. And number 3 is reduced listener loyalty. As I mentioned, you want people to come to your website every single day. You want them to come back for whatever latest news that you talked about on the radio, or a new contest that you have, or events that are happening around your area, or local news. So you want them to keep coming back on a regular basis, because then you can charge more for advertisers who pay to be there. But when they are not loyal customers, they're only coming for special things, and they know, gosh, I'm going to go to this website. It's going to take 4 minutes for it to load. Do I really want to go? And they're going to check out and say, no, I really don't. Be consistent in keeping your websites loading fast and only with the essential information that they need to see. That's going to keep them coming back on a more continuous basis. Number 4 is a bad website design is going to negatively impact your search engine optimization. When people are not coming to your website, then search engines take note of that. Or if your website loads slowly, you may think that adding all these RSS feeds and other things and videos and whatnot are going to help your SEO. They really don't, because they negatively impact the load time of your website. And that is going to affect your SEO more than anything else. A poor loading website keeps getting pushed further down in the search results. And you want your website to be found within some sort of search, advertising opportunities within your local area, or local news in your local area, or local events, whatever your station is best at covering online. You want to be found with those search results. That means that more people who may not even consider your website as a source of this information can find you online. And then when they find you online, well, then that's an opportunity for them to be a new listener to your radio station. So if you're thinking that the website is totally different from your on-air listenership or whatever, they're connected. And so and that is a disconnect with a lot of radio stations. They don't think that they need to put any effort into search engine optimization because it's not going to affect their on-air numbers, but it really does. And so if more people can find your website, they have an opportunity to see that Listen Live button and click there and become a loyal listener as well. So search engine optimization is very, very important. Unfortunately, bad website design negatively affects that. Number 5 is loss in credibility. If you overstuff your website with too many things, your station can look like you're less credible. If you're trying to be everything to everybody online, but you're really not that on air, well, then there's a disconnect, and people will notice that. A more professionally looking website is going to go a whole lot further for you in the long run. I mean, we want to look professional each and every time somebody comes in contact with our radio station. And sure, you may not have a professional website designer to do this, but if you contact a service and you partner with them, more than likely what you're going to be launching with is going to be professional enough that it looks like these people mean business. And so they're going to mean business when it comes to my advertising dollars. So it's going to make a difference to both listeners and advertisers if your website is credible, if it looks professional, and that's going to make a big difference. And then number 6 is a loss in sales and revenue. Obviously, if less people are coming to your website, farther down in the search engine results you are, that means that you cannot charge enough for banner ads. And if your website looks like a poor user experience, advertisers will see that. They're not going to pay you money to be on a website that is not looking professional. And speaking of advertisers, they're going to Google your website when they consider advertising with you. Let's say your salesperson has walked into their business and they're like, well, we'll consider it. Then we'll get back to you. The first thing that they're going to do is go and they're going to probably Google the radio station. Are they found in search results? No. Okay. Well, they gave me their URL, so let me go there. Gosh, this website looks horrible. It took 5 seconds to load, and once it did, it's just this big image with a listen live button. Why do I want to advertise on this radio station when they're not professional enough to have a professional looking website? And it's just very, very frustrating. So all of these things can now negatively affect your bottom line and your revenue. So a professional website, that is the way to go. Whether you use a service or you do it yourself, you want to have a professional looking website. Now, obviously, you may not have the budget to hire a professional website designer. A professional website design still can cost tens of thousands of dollars. All right, that's just the way it is. If you went to hire somebody, if you go overseas, that's a whole other thing that we don't even want to talk about, because we've done podcasts and blog posts about hiring overseas before. Yes, you will get a cheap website. Yes, it will look professional. But then once you have it and you have a question on it, there's nobody to answer that question. They're gone. They got your whatever, your few $1,000s. They're gone. And you have a problem with the website and security, they're gone. You're on your own. So that's a whole other podcast. And you can go back into our podcast archive and find the episode on that. Oh man, so many nightmares. But you may not have a budget for a professional, and you want to do it yourself. Well, here are 6 tips that you can do in order to maintain a professional looking website, and one that is fast loading, one that is going to help out your search results. Number 1 is learn from other professional websites. Notice I didn't say radio stations. Learn from other professional websites. You are smart enough to know what a good website design is versus you know what I'm talking about. All right. So you know the difference between a good website design and a poor website design. Look to see how fast these websites are loading, how they kind of structure the architecture of their homepage and their post pages and their events pages and that sort of thing. And you'll see there is a substantial difference between the professional ones and the non-professional ones. And the more that you look at professional design, you're going to look at what maybe you have done in the past and like, oh my gosh, how in the world have we functioned with this website looking this way? It's okay. We're radio people. We're not website people. I totally get that. I used to be one of those until I became a website person, but you'll notice the difference. Number 2 is to avoid overcrowding your homepage. This is one of the biggest mistakes that radio stations make. They try to be everything to everybody, and they try to put it all on the homepage in order to get those clicks, but that's not the right strategy. It's not the right way to go. You want to keep your homepage clean, focused, limiting your content only to major calls to action, the biggest things that your radio station is doing. Of course, if you're a news website, you're going to have your latest news, maybe some events, maybe some contests, not all of those. You want to limit RSS feeds from outside sources. Outside sources take longer for pages to load, and so you want to be very, very careful of that. Just don't even include them. It's better to not include an outside RSS feed than to include it. Because if you think about it, if you have 5 to 10 links to some other website, that's really 5 to 10 reasons to leave. And so we highly discourage RSS feeds. Number 3 is to optimize your media. Anything that you have on the website as far as images and whatnot, you need to be sure that they are fully optimized and they are the smallest file sizes possible in order for your pages to load as quickly as possible. Just because they're a small dimension on your page doesn't mean that they are small file sizes. The file sizes could be huge, but only show up in like an inch by inch dimension on the page. So be sure that you are optimizing every file size. And do keep in mind that a lot of your visitors are mobile visitors. They are looking at your website on a mobile device or listening to your station on a mobile device. So every little bit and byte counts when it comes to optimizing everything that you're doing on your website. Number 4 is to simplify your navigation. Be sure that things are easy to find. Because you are limiting the content on your homepage, you want to be sure that your navigation, your menus are very easy to navigate. You want to make sure that they are not cluttered, because a cluttered navigation is just as bad as a cluttered homepage. So this goes back to that, trying to be everything to everybody. Don't do it. Just serve your audience with the content that they want to engage with the most, and just kick the rest of it out. Just do away with that mindset of wanting to be everything to everybody, and you're going to benefit a whole lot. Number 5 is to focus on visual hierarchy. You'll see that professional websites, they have kind of a way that they do things on the page. People read things from left to right. So the logo is never going to be on the right side of the page. There's some websites out there that just totally disregard all of that because they think it's cool. There is a psychological hierarchy to how people read websites. And so if you're in a culture where you're reading left to right, then your website needs to read left to right. Now, there are some cultures that read right to left, and so those websites should be right to left. Their logo should be on the right in those cases, but not just because it's cool. Do not put H1 tags just because the text is bigger in the middle of a page. We covered that last week. So you want to maintain that hierarchy of how things are visually laid out on a page. And then number 6 is to test your website speed regularly. You can use free tools like Google Page Insights and GT Metrics. We'll link to those in the show notes, but you can use those. Just put in your website URL and it will give you a score on where your website ranks as far as other websites in the world. It'll give you like an A to F score on where your website ranks, or a percentage score. I think Google Page Insights gives a percentage score, but it will give you what on the page is actually causing it to go slow. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be large images on your site that are slowing everything down. All right. And once you know that, and you can see, okay, this large image that I upload caused my score to go from a C to an F, or a B to an F, or E or something like that, then you can say, okay, now I know where to correct. Again, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be large images. So wrapping up, I hope this has helped you change your mindset on how you look at your radio station website, because it has to be professional. It has to load fast. If it doesn't do both of those are the highest level of things that you need to do when looking at your radio station website. It's got to be professional. It just can't be something that was, made in the 90s and then never updated since then. And then it has to load fast. If you have a lot of elements on your website, pulling in things like RSS feeds and videos and stuff like that, it's going to take a long time to load. And that's not professional either. If you can check both those boxes, be sure that your website loads fast and is professional, then you're going to see a boost in your revenue over time. Otherwise, you're going to be like what I've seen over my last 26 years of doing radio station websites, that slow decline. And then obviously people get to the point, well, the website's not working for us, or we need a new website design because nobody's going to our website. And then so they get that great design, and then the roller coaster has started again, and then they're going to slowly add stuff and slowly make the website decline by adding all of this junk that radio station do to try to be everything to everybody. So don't do that. Break the cycle. Get a professional website that loads fast and it looks good and engages your listeners with fresh content daily. And that's going to be a whole lot more beneficial to you than starting that cycle over and over and over again. So hopefully this information has helped you. If it has, please like, subscribe, and leave us a comment and share this episode with your radio colleagues. We so much appreciate that. And if you need help with your radio station website, we're here to help. Visit skyrocketradio.com. Have an awesome week online making your radio station website better. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to Better Radio Websites. Remember to subscribe, leave a rating or comment, and share this episode with your team and radio colleagues. For show notes, archived episodes, and more free resources, visit betterradiowebsites.com. Need help starting or making your radio website better? Visit skyrocketradio.com.